Then God said in Genesis chapter 2, verse 18, he said, it's not good. He said everything was good that he created, but then he said, it is not good that man be alone. Then he formed a woman, put the man to sleep, took a rib out of his side, and formed a woman. And then it says something very important. It says that God brought the woman to the man. And I thought that was important. Because without God in your life, without God in the center of your life, you can marry the wrong person and be all jacked up. But when you have God in the center of your life, and when God is operating in your life, he will put the right one right there at the right time. Amen. So when he does that, it's a purpose that God had created man to do, to have dominion. It says that for this reason, that a man will leave his mother and father and be joined with his wife, and the two will become one. From the beginning of creation in Genesis chapter 1 to Revelation chapter 22, you see God doing something. And he's establishing a union where people will be one with each other. He started out with Abraham, made Abraham a great nation. And Abraham, God called Israel his bride. They messed up, so he came down. That's amazing that God would clothe himself anyway to create a universe, comes down to redeem mankind, that he may have a bride for himself. In Revelation chapter 19, it said, behold, the bride has made herself ready. Who's the bride? We, as the believers in Jesus Christ, are the bride. It's amazing why that's so powerful, because he said they made themselves ready by the righteousness that they had in their life. And Jesus Christ is our righteousness. He's our wisdom, he's our sanctification, and he's our glory. And without Christ, we're nothing. So we come together to represent and reflect what God has done for us in the beginning. And guess what? I have to say something, and I hope I don't step on nobody's toes when I say this, but I have to say this. It's amazing that God didn't create another man for man. It's amazing. Because God didn't create man for man in the aspect of that man would marry another man. That's amazing. God didn't create a woman for a woman to marry another woman. God created man and woman for the purpose of coming together to be one. I love what Jesus Christ says in the Gospel of Matthew 19. He says this. He says, when they asked him about divorce and stuff, Jesus Christ said, from the beginning, that's not how God did that. He said what he did was he created man and female that they may be one. For this reason, again, they will leave their mother and father. The man will leave his mother and father, and he will go and get his wife, and they will become one flesh. It's amazing if you've been married for a long time. I have noticed in my own walk in marriage that sometimes before I answer something or ask a question, my wife already knows it. I don't know if that ever happened to you before, but she already knows it. Yep. And when she'll open her mouth and I say, man, I was just thinking about that. That's amazing. That's how God works in our life.
Yep.
Amen?
Amen.
Amen. So when he has a question, always have the answer. When she have a question, always have the answer. Because y'all now are becoming one. And that's so important. Because you're representing to the world who God created you to be. One. Amen? Amen. We talked about that already, though. What marriage really was. God's union. And when God's in the midst of it, it's hard to break. When God's in the midst of a marriage, it's hard to break. Amen? So you got to keep God in the center of your marriage. You got to keep him. Because he has great purpose for both of y'all. We already talked about that too. Outside relationships can't come in the house. Conflicts can't go to bed angry. Messed up and jacked up. Guess what? Y'all got to get it right because y'all representing something. God's purpose in the earth. Amen?
Amen.
Amen. Y'all ready to go forward?